From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's voice briefing. It's Wednesday, March 13, 2024.
This is Phoebe Wall-Howard, a business reporter at the Detroit Free Press. Shepler's Ferry, which carries 650,000 travelers to Mackinac Island every season, has decided to postpone a plan to implement baggage fees. Shepler's was looking at $4 per bag to go into effect this year. Some hotel operators and elected officials voiced concern that that would be too expensive for families traveling to the popular destination. However, the Michigan State Police did support the idea of the new technology and tracking bags. Go to freep.com to learn detail about this initiative. freep.com.
I'm Kylie Martin with the Detroit Free Press. 313 Day is back, but as Detroiters head out this Wednesday, March 13th, here's some background about how Detroit got its iconic area code in the first place. The first telephone call to Detroit came from Chicago in 1877, only a year after Alexander Graham Bell patented the telephone. The call made history, not only as the city's first phone call, but also as the farthest distance phone call yet. Later that year, Detroit's first telephone exchange opened for operators to connect and service the 124 customers the city had at the time. Then, in 1879, Detroit became the first big city to begin assigning individual phone numbers, beating other major worldwide cities by a couple of decades. However, Detroit didn't finally get the 313 area code until 1947, when the North American numbering plan was established. Because the world still used the old rotary dial system, numbers that required less finger movement were saved for big cities with lots of telephone traffic, like New York City's area code of a quick 212 compared to Western Missouri's 816. And Detroit, being among the list of the country's most prominent cities of the time, got 313. Over the years, Southeast Michigan branched off into the 248, 586, and 734 area codes, but now the 313 is on the decline. The Michigan Public Service Commission announced in 2023 that unassigned 313 numbers were projected to run out in 2025. And while that end date was pushed back until about mid-2026, the 313 region will soon have to share its territory with a new area code, 679.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department. It was just a few months ago that we all said goodbye to Miguel Cabrera as he called it quits on a legendary career. Miggy's final home game was straight out of a movie. A beautiful, sunny October day in Detroit, a special card display throughout Comerica Park, and a ground ball right to him at first base before he was subbed out to a standing ovation. But on Tuesday, Miggy was back sporting Tigers colors in Lakeland, Florida, ahead of the team's spring training game against the Minnesota Twins. If you didn't know any better, you could have easily mistaken Miggy as preparing for his 22nd MLB season. He had his typical shades on and was rocking the same hat, pants, and shirts as the rest of the players while taking some infield practice next to Spencer Torkelson at first base. But there was one big difference. When Cabrera showed up to Lakeland this time around, he walked into the coach's office and not the locker room. Shortly before his final game as a Tiger, the team announced that he was going to stick around with the franchise as a special advisor to Scott Harris, the team's president of baseball operations. It's sort of an undefined role, but sure enough, there Miggy was hanging out at Tiger Town on Tuesday, joking around the outfield and lightening the mood around the facility. Cabrera said he'll primarily work with the players in the organization on the mental approach to the game, not as much X's and O's, but he is expected to be at the batting cages every morning this week at 8 a.m. As for how much we'll see Miggy throughout the year besides this week, well, manager AJ Hinch said that's totally up to him. They expect to see him at the home opener against the Oakland Athletics on April 5th, and Hinch said when it comes to Miggy, he's welcome anytime he wants.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.